Welcome back to Print Screen Channel, the home of erudite discussion. Anyways, today's topic will be asking ourselves the question, do horses know that they are in a race? And if so, do horses go out there trying to win races? Is there a psychological advantage that some horses have over other horses? Now, this video was inspired by a prominent caller to the KLS Sports program, which is aired 1 to 4 p.m. weekdays, hosted by Vidan Matthew and Arville Higgins, two very intelligent gentlemen when it comes to discussing sports. A prominent caller who is a very intelligent man himself, shipping port, brought an argument on the show that horses can choke. While that argument in itself and face value doesn't hold much merit, if you look deeper below the surface, then you might start to beg the question, does horses actually know that they're in a race? Because for horses to choke, they have to first know that they're in a race, and then they have to be the favorite to win that race, and then the overwhelming pressure in the same manner that a Asafa Powell would choke would get to them, and they would choke and not win that race. I heard a few persons saying that Atomica is a known choker. No. While I don't agree that horses can choke, I've always said on this channel that I don't dismiss the opinion of anybody, and I like to look into every single perspective. So in order to look into this perspective, we have to start from the point of asking, does horses know that they are in a race? First, you have to look at the cognitive side of these animals. Horses are actually more intelligent than people actually realize. And that is why horses are trained. This training will help them to recognize patterns and routines. So there are certain training programs that very smart trainers will bring their horses on. For example, if you're preparing for an 8 furlong race, it would not be very wise for you to have your horse doing 4 furlong sprint morning after morning after morning. You like to give that horse some 9 furlong gallops so that that horse can understand what it's like to run that distance, and they can recognize the pattern and the routine of running that particular distance. I myself is not a trainer. One day I hope to be a trainer, but I love the sports and I want to understand as much about the sport as possible. So I like to ask a lot of questions, I talk to a lot of persons. And one thing some trainers will tell you is that also, not only do they recognize these patterns and routines from their training session, which, classic example, bringing an horse into the gate, schooling, right? When you bring an horse to the gate during schooling, when that horse now comes to the track on race day, he knows what is expected of him. He knows that he should find himself in the gate, although some of them are problematic, and then wait until the gate open for him to go. That is not, you can't just take up an horse off the street and just bring them into the gate and expect them to behave themselves. You have to train them, you have to school them. So that is a part of the pattern and the routine. Another thing that is often overlooked is that horses are social learners, meaning that they pick up behavioral cues from other horses, particularly their stablemates. Even in races, you have some horses that they're galloping because horses are natural runners and they will run with the pack. They're not coming out of the pack. A lot of horses are like that. So some jockey riding these horses, they know that they have to stay with the pack for the majority of the race and then will give him the command to say, go. And that command will include a whip. Now, these horses know that once they hear the crack of the whip, because a lot of horses, you don't even need to hit them with the whip. You just crack the whip and they hear the sound. And that sound is the command to tell them to go. And they understand that command. That command tells them to leave the pack behind and try and separate yourself from the pack. So that shows how intelligent these horses are. So the thing though, is this intelligence really instinct or understanding? Because a lot of animals, they have instinct. For example, my cat, right? If I were to shake the pot, they'll come running into the kitchen because they understand that the sound of a pot shaking means that their food is on the way. That is instinct. While you have some cats that will steal from their owner because they don't have the understanding that their food and their owner's food are two different foods. So that's the difference between instinct and understanding. I personally believe that horses, like a lot of animals, have both instinct and understanding, and the understanding part comes from training them. Just like with the cat, if you were to train the cat to not steal from you, then the cat will not steal from you. So do horses know that they're in a race then? Because we have now established that through training, observation, learning from other horses around them, understanding human cues when you crack the whip or when you whip them, they understand what is needed from them. So do they understand that they're in a race, or do they understand that they need to move fast and get away from the pack? Well, technically, moving fast and getting away from the pack is a race anyway. So I'll say yes, they do understand that they're in a race. And a lot of jockey will tell you that before a race, their horses will become way more excited than if they were to carry them on the training track. Once they realize that they start parading around the parade ring, a lot of these horses know what time it is. I remember one time I was at the track and a horse by the name of, the name is slipping me. I was at the track and a horse came out on the track, and then out of nowhere the horse starts sprinting. It was supposed to be, I think, a 6 or a 7 furlong race, and the horse starts sprinting around to the gate. So I was saying to my father that this horse is wasting his energy, and my father said to me, no, he's very excited for the race. Very, very excited. Go and put a money on this horse. This one is coming to run. And I was looking at the odds. It was about 10 to 1, and I said to him, you're crazy. But this horse wasted so much energy going around the track. He said, watch and you'll see what happened. That horse won off the TV at 10 to 1. That horse knows that he is in a race and he's ready for the race. And the corresponding races that came after, that horse did not behave this way, and he did not win. And the next time I saw the horse very excited, he won. There is something there. There is something there. Now, a lot of horses, as I said, they know when they're in a pack. They like to run in pack. And a lot of horses don't like being at the back of this pack. Some horses don't like being at the front of this pack. And some horses don't like to see other horses running away from them. So you'll notice, for example, there are some horses that will stay with the pack, but when you come around the bend, these horses now will start to extend and get away from the pack. And then you have some horses behind them. When the jockey is set to go, those horses are going to ensure that you don't run away from them. So they're coming from you. While your other horses, you will have them and they're leading and they see the wire, because a lot of horses understand the wire, the pole. They will see the wire and they start to slow down for some reason or the other. Is this a physical thing or a psychological thing? That is the question. If it is a psychological thing, then technically they have choked. But here's where I differ. Yes, horses understand that they're in a race, but unlike Asafa Powell, they don't really understand strategy like that. They don't really understand what it's like to win or lose. So they wouldn't necessarily have the pressure that normal human being will have. And horses are sensible creatures, very, very sensible creatures who understand that they are in a race, but they don't understand the consequences of winning or losing that race. But I personally think that for a lot of these horses that, yes, they don't like to win races, and even I have used that terminology whenever I am making my picks, and I will continue to use that terminology because once the evidence is there in front of me where I see horses coming at 1 to 5, 4 to 5, and keep on coming and keep on losing, I'm going to say they don't like to win races. But the reality is, it is usually that there's something physically wrong with the horse where they are not as fit as they should be, whether due to some form of ailment or they're not being trained properly. Or there could be something else which I don't like to go into discussing that side of racing where, yeah, let's leave that one alone. Every punter know what that something else could be, right? But staying on the legal side, when horses are supposed to win races and they don't win, it simply means that once all the horses are trying in that race, they were not as fit or they're not as good as we are led to believe. Ability and fitness is what win races. So you'll continue to hear me say on this program over and over and over that fit horses win races, fit horses win races, fit horses win races. And that is because this is true. And this is how I'm able to spot outers like Justin Big Time. Fit horses win races. Anyway, let me know down in the comment section if you believe that horses can choke. If there's any trainer that listens to my program who would like to weigh in, feel free to weigh in the comment section. I like to learn and I want to learn. You understand? And even though I say over here is the home of erudite discussion and we're all erudite people over here, for those who don't know, the meaning of erudite is having or showing great knowledge or learning. So, while I do say erudite, I want to continue to learn and learn and learn and learn. So big up yourself, folks. And this is Spring Screen Channel, the home of intellectual erudite discussion. Peace out.